But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. You look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record.
You ain't black. Response to that, Senator?
Wow. That is the most arrogant, condescending comment I've heard in a very long time, and that's saying something. The man who sponsored and led the charge on the 1990s crime bill that locked up more African American males than any other piece of legislation, and President Trump comes along and through his criminal justice reform corrects the absolute mistakes made by Joe Biden. For him to make such an arrogant, ridiculous comment to, if you think about the numbers, 1.3 million African Americans voted for Trump. He's saying to 1.3 million African Americans that you're not black? Who in the heck does he think he is? That is the most arrogant, outrageous comment I've heard in a very long time. And I take offense to that.
You know, there's so much I have to say about this comment. It would fill a book, but let me try to narrow it down to you with just a few key observations. Joe Biden's policy and voting record have hurt black people, particularly young men. Joe Biden is condescending and he's offensive. Remember, they're going to put you all back in chains. Joe Biden demeans black voters with this simplistic campaign slogan while ignoring the community's concerns with much more complicated issue. Joe Biden is using divisive political insinuations suggesting that Democrats are the good white people and Republicans are the bad white people, which is really amazing based on actual events in our history that truly propelled black people into freedom and a more just society. Now, the sad thing is he'll get traction with this kind of stuff because there are powerful black entities that are bargaining for even more power. Now, fear is their base of power, but they need more. The same people that complain about mean tweets, well, they were ready to overlook stop and frisk policies all for the money. I hope we get to a point in life where everyone is voting for candidates based on things like national security, economic freedom and prosperity, individual rights, safety, education, worker development, prison reform. Now, speaking for myself, when I walk out of the voting booth in November, I will still be black and prouder than ever for not voting for Joe Biden.
What really gets me about this is obviously it's a racist idea, but it's his entire mindset towards the black community, towards the black vote, to the way that he looks at the way that he takes their votes for granted. I mean, this is literally like a caricature of what the Sanders campaign and the Trump campaign and Republicans have been saying about how Democrats treat black voters for decades now. And he just came out and said it. Same guy who said that Mitt Romney was going to put people back in chains. I mean, he's a long history of making ridiculous statements like this.
And so here he is with that attitude so incredibly on display. The other layer here, though, is what does he say? He's like, look at my record. Look at my record. No. We looked at your record. Yeah. That's the problem. Well, you are the architect of mass incarceration that locked up overwhelmingly a generation of black men. That is the problem. While your own son struggled with drugs, got very different treatment, you know, paid well on corporate boards, etc.
Right.
The young black men who were doing the same thing, what did they end up with thanks to you and your legislation and the racist crack cocaine disparity, which you were a part of that as well. So he's looked at the record. That's why there's some questions here.